But the best development of all was that Xavier and I had grown even closer. I looked across at him. He was just as breathtakingly beautiful as ever. His tie hung loose and his blazer was slung casually over one shoulder. I could feel his taut body occasionally brushing against mine as we walked side by side, our footsteps falling in time. Sometimes it was easy to think of us as one entity. Since the violent encounter with Jake last year, Xavier had hit the gym even harder and thrown himself into sports more vigorously. I knew he was doing it so he'd be better equipped to protect me, but that didn't mean I couldn't enjoy the perks. Xavier had more definition in his chest and washboard abs. He was still slender and perfectly proportioned, but I could see the muscles in his arms rippling beneath the fine cotton of his shirt. I looked up at his refined features, his straight nose, high cheekbones, and full lips. In the light of the sun, his walnut-colored hair was streaked with gold, and his almond-shaped eyes were like liquid blue topaz. On his ring finger, he now wore the gift I'd given him after he had helped me recover from Jake's attack. It was a thick silver band, etched with 3 symbols of faith: a 5-point star to represent the Star of Bethlehem, a trefoil to honor the 3 persons of the Holy Trinity, and the initials IHS, an abbreviation of Ius, the way Christ's name was spelled in the Middle Ages. I'd had an identical one made for me, and I liked to think they were our special version of a promise ring. Another person who'd witnessed as much as Xavier had might have lost all faith in our Father, but Xavier had strength of mind and spirit. He'd made a commitment to us, and I knew that nothing could persuade him to break it. My train of thought was broken when we bumped into a group of Xavier's friends from the water polo team in the parking lot. I knew some of them by name and caught the tail end of their conversation.
"I can't believe Wilson hooked up with Kay Bentley,"
a boy named Lawson sniggered. He was still bleary-eyed from whatever misadventure had taken place over the weekend. I knew from experience it probably involved a keg and willful damage to property.
"It's his funeral," someone muttered. "Everyone knows she's done more miles than my dad's vintage Chrysler." "I don't care, so long as it wasn't on my bed. I'd have to burn everything." "Don't worry, man, pretty sure they were out on the back lawn."
"I was so wasted, I don't remember a damn thing," Lawson declared.
"I remember you tried to hook up with me," replied a boy named Wesley in his lilting accent. He contorted his face into a grimace. "Whatever, it was dark. You could do a lot worse." "Not funny," Wesley growled. "Someone posted a picture on Facebook. What am I going to tell Jess?" "Tell her you couldn't resist Lawson's ripped body." Xavier thumped his friend on the back as he sauntered past. "He's really built from all those hours on the PlayStation."
I laughed as Xavier pulled open the door of his sky-blue Chevy Bel Air convertible. I climbed in, stretched out, and breathed in the familiar smell of the leather seats. I loved the car almost as much as Xavier did now. It had been with us from the very beginning, from our first date at Sweetheart's Cafe to the showdown with Jake Thorn at the cemetery. Though I'd never admit it, I'd come to think of the Chevy as having a personality of its own. Xavier turned the key in the ignition and the car roared to life. They seemed to move in sync, as if they were attuned to each other.
"So have you come up with a costume yet?"
"For what?" I asked blankly.
Xavier shook his head.
"For Halloween.
Try to keep up."
"Not yet," I admitted. "I'm still working on it. What about you?"
"How do you feel about Batman?" Xavier asked with a wink. "I've always wanted to be a superhero."
"You just want to pretend you drive a Batmobile." Xavier gave a guilty smile.
"Damn it, you know me too well."
When we reached number 15 Byron Street, Xavier leaned across and pressed his lips against mine. His kiss was soft and sweet. I felt the outside world fall away as I melted into him. His skin was smooth beneath my fingers.